sorry. Excuse you. Okay. It's getting excessive. Hello, everybody. How are you guys? It has been a minute. I am like about 2 weeks post-surgery that I mentioned in the last video, and I'm feeling really good. So I thought today I would hop on here, just do a quick life update, and then just some gallbladder talk. Who's not really pumped for gallbladder talk? I've had so many people, at least over my Instagram, that have like responded that they either had to have their gallbladder out, or they're thinking about it, or they wonder if maybe that's what's wrong with them. So I was like, you know what? For all it's worth, here's my story and what went down with my gallbladder. So I had my baby boy in, March of this year. And then right after I had him, I started just having these symptoms of kind of like nausea, and I had started a medication. So at first I thought, oh, this is me adapting to my medication. But then long story short, I ended up stopping that medication, and I still had this constant kind of like nausea and like mild stomach pain. And then it started getting worse, maybe like 2-3 months into it, and more frequent. So it would be like 3 good days and then 3 really bad days. And I don't know how to explain the pain. I did not have like sharp shooting, like gallbladder attacks that some people describe, but it was like, I kind of just always felt like bloated and in mild pain and discomfort. I never wanted anything pushing on my tummy, but I was always carrying a baby, so I was pushing things on my stomach. And then I was like, oh no, do I have like a food sensitivity? So then I kind of tried some gluten-free for a while, and I started feeling a little bit better, but I was kind of just eating healthier. And if you know anything about gallbladder, if you are suffering from like gallstones and gallbladder attacks, fatty foods can really like trigger it. So when I was trying to eat gluten-free, I was also kind of eating healthier, so I wasn't having fatty foods, so it kind of was helping. But then I had something that was gluten-free but had like a lot of oil or something in it at like a restaurant, and that night was like one of the worst nights of pain I ever had. So I was like, I need to call a doctor. So I got up with my primary care doctor, and she immediately was like, I'm just gonna send you to have an abdominal ultrasound. That is just what I would rather do, you know, rather than you making life-altering like diet choices. Like, let's just check it out, see if there's anything going on. And I said, okay, thanks, let's do it. So went and had my first ultrasound that wasn't to see a baby, and they just looked at everything in the abdomen, all those other organs and whatnot, and they called me literally within like 2 hours, and they're like, oh, it is chock full of gallstones. That is probably why you're in discomfort often. And she told me that like when I would have like a few days of bad pain, I was most likely passing a gallstone. So she was like, I would recommend getting it taken out while you're still in control of the matter. If you keep having this happen and it gets worse and they get bigger and then they get blocked and then there's infections and pancreatitis and like there's just a lot of other things that can go down for like emergency gallbladder removal. She was like, you could just get it taken out. So that's kind of the approach I took. I was in enough like discomfort constantly and just never knowing what foods I could eat or not eat that were going to trip it up. And then so once I decided to schedule a surgery, I still had like 2 weeks to wait, and man, by the end of those 2 weeks, I was like, get this thing out of me, because it was getting worse. So they scheduled me, and it's a laparoscopic surgery, so like a little robotic surgery, and it's just 4 really small incisions. And I went in at like 5 a.m. that day, and I was home by like noon. So it was like really fast surgery. It went really smooth. The only thing that kind of like changed during surgery was my gallbladder was kind of so big because it was full of stones that they had to make one of my incisions like this big, and the rest of them are like this big to get the gallbladder out. So that incision was just like a little bit more painful later during recovery, and that's the one I need to be more careful about. But yeah, it was pretty simple and easy. I got home, and once all the kind of like anesthesia fully wore off and everything, I was in some pain, but I had some pain meds that I took like just that day. I tried to stop because they tell you if you keep taking the pain meds, you'll end up getting more constipated and then bloated, and then your stomach hurts even worse. And that's where they did all the work. So it's just better to not take as little pain meds as possible. Is kind of the approach I took. And then I was just kind of taking ibuprofen and Tylenol around the clock. So that's what I did. And then it was like a couple days of rough, not like rough, but like painful recovery, like in bed, pretty much only got up to go to the bathroom or to eat or to like help somebody that needed help, because even after you have surgery, you are still a mom. But my husband took very, very good care of me, but we were dealing, oh man, it was actually really hard because a virus hit our household a week before my surgery. So it started with Willow, then I went to Giovanni, then Walker started getting it like right when I had surgery, and then my mother-in-law, who came to stay and help us, like was able to help me for days 1 and 2 post, but then she got hit with the virus. So then she was down. And it was just something that nobody would have ever chosen. Like, oh, if we're gonna all get sick and then go through each person, could we have chosen a different week maybe? But God is so good and gracious, because I never got it. I think there's just some superpower with moms sometimes when everyone in their house is sick, but somehow they're able to not get it. So I was so thankful. So by the time basically Giovanni felt better, he was able to kind of take care of me and his mom and the kids. He was literally super dad. So grateful for him. But yeah, that's kind of how it went down. And then after like day 3, I was up and moving around, just like really, really slow. And the recommendation was not to pick up anything over 10 pounds for 4 weeks, which is just impossible. So I waited almost 2 full weeks to pick Walker up, because he's a chonker. He's about at least 18 pounds. So I waited almost 2 weeks to pick him up. Not quite though, probably like 10 days. And yeah, that's kind of how surgery went and why I got it. Trying to think if there's anything else that people have asked me. I do feel better so far. I've been eating and I just feel better. Like I don't have any of that stomach pain or discomfort. It was hard to tell for a few days just because everything inside hurt. But I also eased into like fattier foods. But once I had my first Chick-fil-A and felt good, I was like, we are back, people. We are back. So yeah, that is what happened with my gallbladder. We said goodbye to her. We are so thankful. We are feeling recovered. We're waiting. He told me like 6 weeks until I could like fully work out again, in terms of like, I like to do like weightlifting classes, body pump, if anyone knows. I love body pump. But he told me I had to wait like 6 weeks for that. So I'm gonna wait a few more weeks. And for pickleball, your girl is itching to play some pickleball with all her friends. But that is how it went. Thank y'all for thinking of me, praying for me if you did. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be back to making more videos soon. I'm really excited. In a couple weeks, we're going to be going on a family vacation to West Virginia. And I'm thinking about doing a little vloggy vlog for that. And I have some other ideas brewing. So if you have any questions about gallbladder stuff, just comment below. Dr. Rachel will get back to you on that. No, I don't know anything. I only know my own experience, but happy to share it in any more detail if anybody's curious. Just drop a comment or just message me over on Instagram. But I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.